Welcome, Reb, to Linear Rock.
Ciao, Barbara. Thank you very much for having me.
Glad to have you here. So, Reb, we're here presenting A View from the Inside, which is your third solo album, just released on Frontiers Records. And almost 20 years after your latest solo effort, which was Masquerade. Why a new solo album now? Because I know you're always very busy. And can we describe it like, as the culmination of 30 years of sweat and tears on the guitar? Since also, this very first whole instrumental record has a title that suggests a very intimate path.
Yeah, I guess it's intimate. It's I played over it, and I just kept the best solos, the ones that had the most feeling. But the music I've been writing for a long time, more as a hobby than anything else. And I never had time to really finish the record. It was always on my hard drive. And when COVID hit, I was talking to Kip Winger, and he said, "What did you ever do with your instrumental music?" And I said, "It's done. It's on my computer." So he said, "Why don't you release it?" And I asked Frontiers, and they were kind enough to release it for me.
Do you consider the guitar your very own voice, and let's say also your eye, your look into the world, for the cover of the cover artwork of the album, like your definitive communication vehicle, which happened, maybe to shout louder than ever in this first instrumental album, which has, the guitar forefront?
Yeah, I think that I communicate musically best through my guitar, for sure. People say that I have a very distinct style that they can tell when it's me playing. The album cover, I told the art guy, just put an eyeball in space. So that's what he did, and it came out really cool. He's the guy who did all the art for Winger. So he's this great artist. All our album covers are so cool, and I love that album cover that he did for me, and it also would be a great T-shirt. But yeah, that's kind of the thing, a view from the inside, inside my soul, and the playing of my guitar and singing through the guitar.
So, Reb, how did you choose the titles for these songs, since they have no lyrics and they've been, on your hard drive for a long time?
It's what you think about when you hear the song. So, Little Robots made me actually think of Little Robots. There's one part of the song that goes, kind of a thing. And, Attack of the Massive was a patch on my keyboard. Like, I have a keyboard that has a patch called Attack of the Massive. And so I thought that'd be a cool name for the hardest, most difficult song on the record. Infinito 1122 is Infinito, of course, being Italian for infinity. And 1122 is... it is a very special day. It's the Angel Day, and if you see 1122 anywhere, if you like a couple of times, if you see it on the cash register or you see it at the gas station, 1122, it means you should change your life and you should start again. And so, I love that idea of starting again, forever. And it's also the birthday of one of my favorite people. So. That's that one. So, they all have little stories behind them.
Okay, so which is your wife? I mean, your favorite person that has a birthday 11/22?
No, it's not her, no.
All right, okay. You don't want to tell us who it is. All right. What are you looking for, and what do you find in your solo career that is not enough for you in your bands, Winger or Whitesnake, which are still active, and which for any rock musician, would be like the ultimate goal, the paradise, a sort of mecca. You have them, but you're looking for more. So what you're looking for in your solo career?
Oh, like on the next album, I'm going to sing like I did on Masquerade. This was just something that the fans have been asking for a really long time, and also something that I've wanted to do ever since Winger broke up in 1993. I thought that I could just be like a Joe Satriani type of guy and not have to worry about singing and if my band was cool or not. You know, guitar playing's always cool. So I figured, you know, I wouldn't have the same situation that happened with Winger where we were overnight. And I made those demos called the Fusion Demos, which wasn't really a solo record. People are saying that this is my third solo record. Really, it's my second. Those were just demos that I did for this record so many years ago. So now I kind of forget the question, but you know,
what you're looking for in your solo career, you know.
Yeah, I want to play this stuff live. I want to get on a tour with other guitar players, be it the G3 tour or a Generation Axe. They have these great tours that they put together with guitar players, but you need an instrumental kind of record to do it, and now I have it. So I'd love to tour with this thing one day.
Is there any possibility you will be part of any G3 tour when we will, you know, be able to have concerts again? Since you mentioned Satriani.
Yeah. I actually saw Joe last year, and it was amazing. It was with John Petrucci and Phil Collin. Phil Collin was really good. And I got to talk to him for about a half an hour, and I told him about the record, and he said, look, send it to me as soon as it's ready. So I sent it to him last week. And, you know, I'm hoping that he thinks it's, you know, something that would be good for the G3 tour. He did say, you know, look, I'd have you out on the road for sure, man. You know, I've known Joe for a long time, not that well. But, you know, I talked to him 30 years ago when the album first came out, and we bumped into each other a few times. So, yeah, I'd love to do G3 or any of those tours for sure. You know, Winger permitting, or Whitesnake permitting as well.
Of course. At what age did you start playing guitar? Do you remember the very first time you had a guitar in your hands? Was it love at first sight for you?
No, I hated it. Okay. Yeah, I was 12, and my mom got me an acoustic guitar for Christmas, and I hated it. I couldn't play it. It hurt my fingers, and I wanted to be Elton John. So I had played the piano since I was 4 years old, and I wanted to be like a piano player, you know, Billy Joel kind of guy. And then I saw Kiss and realized that I was an idiot to want to be either of those people, and realized that, oh, that's what I was made to be, was you know, a guitar playing guy like Ace Frehley, you know, not necessarily with the makeup, but, you know, just playing guitar was just so much cooler, and it was like a light bulb going off over my head, and I knew that I was going to be a performer, because I was already on stage in all of the plays when I was very young. Like in 5th grade, I was in Oliver and, you know, like Broadway kind of shows in high school. So I was used to the stage, and I knew that performing and rock and roll was for me.
The song Cutting Loose shares the same title as your famous instructional video from a few years back. You always said that, you know, conventional lessons were not for you. Today, perhaps we have gone too far. You know, there are many more instruments in our houses, but in particularly, what I wanted to ask you is, what do you think of the modern and digital approach, especially of the younger kids, to learning music? Is it close or far from your approach?
Oh, it depends if they're playing actual instruments or not, or just, you know, programming sounds that, you know, came on their keyboard. You know, I like the human feel myself, and I don't like stuff that's overproduced and auto-tuned, and I like to hear the mistakes, you know, like in the 70s. And it's, oddly enough, Cutting Loose, that song was the first song on my instructional video, and it wasn't called Cutting Loose then. That was just the name of the video. And I always wanted to redo that song, and it never had a name. So last year I decided to just name it Cutting Loose because it was the first song on the record.
Okay.
Yeah, on the video. But yeah, I'm not really into, a lot of the music I hear on the radio today, I could do in about 5 minutes. Just a little drum program, a little, bass keyboard and auto-tune a girl's voice. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a whole lot of talent.
Right. Steve Morse, especially in his Dixie Dregs years, which happened to be also Rod's band, is one of your main influences. In the Purple album and during the Purple tour, with Whitesnake, of course, did you mostly stick to the original versions of Blackmore, or the temptation, was strong to refer to Morse, to Steve Morse remakes, to make those songs more yours?
Oh God, no! I didn't think of Steve Morse at all when I did Purple stuff.
Okay.
And Steve, he was definitely influential. More his music was influential to me than his guitar playing, because I already, had my style was already going in its direction before I had even heard Steve Morse. Steve Morse I don't sound anything like Steve Morse. He's, one of my favorite guitar players, but I sound nothing like him. And same thing with Blackmore. I wasn't really influenced that much by Blackmore. But when we did the Purple record, I played the solo on Burn and kind of had a little bit of a Blackmore-y feel. I did it on a Strat, and so I was thinking more Blackmore than Morse, in answer to your question.
Eddie Van Halen is another major influence and inspiration of yours, I read in some interviews. And of course, any guitarist has, Eddie as one of their focuses. Do you think that without Eddie, is an era now over? And did you ever meet him? Do you have a memory about him? And also in 2006, you played in 80s metal tribute to Van Halen with Dance the Night Away. Is that your favorite Van Halen song? A lot of questions in one, okay. But
yeah, a lot of questions in one. Okay, so just Van Halen. Van Halen was so important to me, and I didn't know just how important until he passed away. I thought about it, and when he died, and still can't believe he's gone. But I started in New York City, and I played on a record at Atlantic Studios for Fiona on Atlantic Records. And then I did it for really cheap. And so the producer told other producers about me and said, like, this kid, he'll do your album for $500. He'll do the whole album for $500. So other producers started using me. But the reason that they needed me is because everyone wanted an Eddie Van Halen style solo on their album, because Beat It had just came out by Michael Jackson. So Chaka Khan, the Bee Gees, Howard Jones, these huge artists were looking for the closest thing to Van Halen that they could find. And luckily, I was a tapping guy, so it was perfect. And that's how I got my foot in the door, thanks to Eddie Van Halen. Also, Van Halen kind of started the glam thing. Arguably, they started the glam thing with the flashy guitar player, with the great guitar player. That's for sure. And so, would Winger have been around had it not been for Van Halen? I don't know. I'm not so sure if we would have had the success we had without them paving the way. And then Dance the Night Away, I would do sessions for Bob Kulick. And I did an Aerosmith tribute. I did all kinds of tributes. I love that song, Dance the Night Away. I don't think it's my favorite, but I don't think I even picked that song. I think it was picked for me.
Okay. Did you ever meet Eddie? Or
I did. I met Eddie a few times, just briefly. The last time I spoke with him, he said, "If you're the guy I think you are, you're really good on guitar." And I said, "God, I hope I'm the guy you think I am." And then he laughed, and he gave that smile, that beautiful smile he had, So that was really, really great.
We see all those gold and platinum records behind you. From what band are those?
Back in the 80s, we used to get platinum and gold records for everything. Like, I have one from, because just everyone would give you one. I have one from the Lost Boys soundtrack. I have one from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and the Karate Kid 3, from Trans-Siberian Orchestra. These are the winger ones in the Heart of the Young and the first album. That they've been there for 20 years. It's just sitting there.
Of Whitesnake historical guitarists, if you could turn back time, who would you like to partner with and why?
Well, a lot of them are better than me, so I wouldn't want to partner with them.
No.
No. I guess I'm intrigued by John Sykes. He's so unique and he's so out of the public eye. I mean, I don't know. You never see interviews with John Sykes. There's mystique about him. He's so mysterious. And just the way he played on that record just freaked me out. I was actually able to solo his guitar on the big 87 record and only listen to his guitar for the whole album. And it was riveting, just on fire, like young and hungry sound, and every note was screaming. It was really, really inspiring. So I'd like to at least meet him one day.
Is it true that it was you to make Michele Luppi's name, suggesting him, as a keyboardist for Whitesnake, and you also wanted Michele on your solo album on 2 tracks? Is that correct?
Yes. It was me that came to David with Michele's tape and said, you need to watch this. I know this guy. He's a great guy. He's a perfect fit for the band. And it was the best choice we could have made because we all love him so much. He's everybody's favorite in the band, And on my record, we just happened to be in Detroit, where the engineer who engineered A View from the Inside, Steve Langley, he lived there and he knew a guy who had a piano. So I asked Michele if he would play on 2 songs, and because only 2 songs have piano.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were on the road. we were on the road on a day off in Detroit, and he went in and did it, and it was just great to have him on there. He sounds amazing.
You have worked with so many big names in rock, as we mentioned, and pop as well. Which are the pros and cons, of working as a session man compared, on working for your bands or on your music for a solo effort?
Well, the cons are when there's a producer telling you to do something that you hate, and telling you to do it over and over and over again when you hate it, and it's a stupid part, and you're embarrassed to even play it. The pros are when it's your own music, and you can create. That's the whole thing. It's like climbing a mountain. It's hard. We're writing the new Winger record now, and you just pull your hair out. You go, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Throw it away. We start again. But when at the end of the song, when the song is finished and the smoke clears, you're at the top of the mountain saying, I did it. We did it. Look at this. And we have this to show for the rest of our lives. And so that's what's the best part about being in your own band rather than doing sessions for somebody who, usually doesn't know what they're doing.
To close this interview, I would like to ask you, you just told us that Winger are working on some new material. So which are the plans for Winger and Whitesnake currently? And if you have, upcoming projects, and also if there will be the possibility, to have your dream fulfilled of having a tour after this pandemic, REB Beach, as a solo artist with a power trio and just instrumental music.
That would be great. Let me correct one thing that I said. Doing sessions, they usually don't know what they're doing. I mean, sometimes they don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
Not usually. That was the wrong word. So plans for the future. Yes, I would. The ultimate thing for me would be to get to do a G3 type tour. Just because I've never done it and I've always wanted to do it, and to not have to worry about singing and just play guitar. I love to play guitar. It would just be so cool. It's just a great thought for me. And then, Winger, we have definite plans. We are writing right now. We're about halfway done with the new album. I'm leaving on Monday to go back to Nashville. I'm going to drive to Nashville. It's a 9-hour drive. Stay there for a week. I come back, then we'll do Christmas. I'll go back in January, and I'll go back probably 4 or 5 times until the music's done. And so we're hoping that when the vaccine comes and things start to get back to normal and people can go to shows, we'll have a new album ready to go, say in next summer, and be all ready to go and promote it. And also, we want to go to Europe a lot more with Winger. We don't go that much, and I know we have a following there. We did pretty well last time we went there. We want to go a lot to Europe. We want to get that base bigger there. And then as far as Whitesnake, David is so great. When we did our last show in Singapore, David said, "Darlings, come here. You're all snakes. I want you to stay together. Every single day we're going to text each other to see how one another is doing. I love you very much, and you're all snakes." And so every single day he texts us ever since COVID started, sends us jokes. "How are you, darlings?" Every single day he keeps in touch with us. And I know he said it's a possibility there might not be any shows in 2021. Let's hope that this thing gets better sooner than later. And, I would love to do something with David again, but I think my focus, it looks like, is going to be Winger for 2021.
Thanks, REB, for your time and for this great interview. It's been a pleasure for us. Hope to see you soon also in Italy, as long as the machine will start again.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, Barbara. And I love Italy more than any other place on earth. And I hope to be there very, very soon again, because it's my favorite place. And, food and love and everything's gorgeous. And I miss it. I really do.
Okay. And you will always be welcome to Italy. Thanks, REB. Ciao, REB. Thanks so much.
Ciao.